In this video, I'd like to talk to you about two digital storytelling tools, Storybird and Storyboard That. Digital storytelling is a powerful tool for language and culture learning, as it allows students to get creative, express themselves freely in a written form, and work in a team or on a task-based project. Let's make an example. Imagining that you want to create a storytelling project whose title is What is European? And see how you can develop this project with both Storybird and Storyboard That. Let's start with Storybird. Storybird allows you to create art-inspired stories. Once you create an account, you may choose from art hosted on the site and then build a story around those images, which then can be shared to do a collaborative task. So this is how it works. At the top of the page, I created my account where my stuff, my reading, my writing, everything I save will be displayed. Then you can also create classes. For example, I created a class called Template, or you can also join other classes, and that's what your students are going to do. You can also participate in challenges. For example, basic writing or creative writing, thematic compositions, and so on. For the purposes of this video, let's decide that you're going to create this project, as we said before, that's called What is European? So if you click on Write, you can start your own project. First, you have to decide whether you want to write a picture book, long-form story, comics, flash fiction, which is very popular nowadays, poetry. Let's choose, for example, flash fiction, which means that each student is going to be writing their own piece of flash fiction. If the title of the project is What is European, you students will have brainstormed what they want to write about. And for the sake of the exercise, let's imagine that they decided to center their project around food. So they can search for food, and a lot of different foods are going to be displayed. Okay, ketchup bottle, and then people dining, and cauliflower. So there are both foods and different situations, a kitchen, and so on. But not all of these foods and not all of these situations can be considered European. So let's imagine one of your Italian students decided they want to write about pizza. In that case, they can be more specific and search pizza. And here they're going to find different images about pizza. They can choose one that they like, click on it, and then they can write the story by adding a title and then type in their story here. So their story can be in English, or if you're working in a plurilingual classroom, you may also decide that each student is going to be writing about their own food in their own language. Now, once you've finished your story, you can click on Save and Exit, and you have a few options. You can save it to draft if you're not sure and you may want to change it in the future, or you can publish your story either publicly, privately, or to the classroom as an assignment. So in this case, I am submitting it to the classroom that I created, to the template classroom, and I'm going to publish it. And in this way, my class is going to be able to see all of the stories that the students have published. Now let's try and work on the same project with Storyboard That. The difference between Storybird and Storyboard That is that the latter is not based on artwork, but you will find scenes, characters, and objects to tell a story. Now, this is how your page as a teacher is going to look like, so make sure you log in and you select free trial, and then if you want you can also decide to upgrade it. So I have created a class called Template. So now we can create a storyboard, and the title again is going to be What is European? Okay, So as you can see, you've got many options to find images divided into different sections: entertainment, indoors, outdoor, schools, athletes, transportations, and so on. Or you can click on the search button. Let's imagine again that your students decided to create this project based on food that is considered European. And for the sake of the exercise, in this case, let's imagine that one of your students is British and they want to create a storyboard on the typical English breakfast. So, for example, when going to search for tea first, you see that here the image is going to be displayed, and you can resize it, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, it's up to you. Okay, so it's very easy to use. So the first slide is going to be about tea. Then the second slide is going to be, for example, about the typical English breakfast. So here it is. And again, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, it's up to you. And in the third slide, for example, your student wants to show that English breakfast is not only about eggs and bacon, but you also get some vegetables, such as tomatoes and mushrooms. All right. And again, we're going to make it a little bit smaller. There it is. Now, if you want to add some text, you're going to click on Textables. And here, you're going to find the frames. So you can select a frame that you like and insert it in the page and then write inside the frame. Once your story is finished, you're simply going to click on Save and Exit, and your story is going to be saved to the classroom that you created. Now, I hope that this video was useful and that you can find creative ways of using digital storytelling in your classroom.